Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel on Super Sunday. This is the last Super Sunday of November, and today we're going to be making an Italian wedding soup. I love it. It's one of my favorites. It's not really one of my husband's favorites, and I don't know why, because it has nothing except things he'd like in it. I'm watching here. I have to take the pan off the oil off the burner. I'm going to bring you down and we're going to get together making this. And yes, I am wearing the same dress you saw when I made the bubble wreath on Friday. And I'll let you in a little secret. I just finished the bubble wreath. This is Friday. So I'll be right back. Let me get you down by the pot and you can see how we make Italian wedding soup. Right back. Okay, in this pot here I just have a little bit of olive oil. And I'm going to start by putting in my vegetables. I have 1 small onion, 2 carrots, and 2 stalks of celery. And we'll get those going. We'll get a spoon. Thought I had everything ready, but of course I didn't. Now we're just going to let these cook a little bit while we work on the meatballs. And I'm going to take off my rings because I will mix these by hand here. I'm going to use ground chicken. Traditionally I think they use ground veal, but you can use ground veal, ground chicken, ground pork, ground beef, ground whatever you want to grind. I'm just going to make it with ground chicken. And I'm kind of following a recipe from Laura in the Kitchen. I'm sure you're all familiar with her. So to this ground chicken, I'm going to add 1 egg. I'm going to add some grated garlic. I'm not going to put a big piece of garlic in the egg. You don't want to have a big piece of garlic. A bite down. And that's a pretty good size clove, so I'm going to add some grated onion. Now you don't need a big piece of onion when you grate it because it gets quite strong. I'm going to add a few breadcrumbs, not too many right now. We'll see how it comes out. And a little bit of milk. Laura said her mother always put milk in, or her grandma, and so did my mother. Always had milk in her meatballs or in her meatloaf, and some Parmesan. I hope you can't see past the steam here. You know what? I think I'll move you over this side while we're waiting on this. Hold on. So there you go. Now you can see better. Now this meat mixture is really quite wet. You don't want it to be dry like meatballs can be. So I'll turn this down a bit. Now I have a pound here. And I need a plate to put them on. And I'm going to start making meatballs. And the meatballs are That is a little too wet. They didn't want to hold together at all, actually. There we go, that's better. Little teeny meatballs. And I get no patience, and you'll find some meatballs bigger than the others. Okay, I'm going to continue making these meatballs, and I'll be back when I get them all made. As soon as I can shut off the camera, I've got to wash my hands. Okay, I have added to this pot 6 cups of water, and I've turned the heat back up. And to that, I'm going to add 6 teaspoons of my chicken better than bouillon. And I think I have just about 1 left in this jar. So, 2, 4, 5. Oh gosh, that's not going to work. I have a big cover for this one. I got this at Costco. They have the big size there. And you can just about see my meatballs. Let's see if I can get them in the picture. There, okay. I've got a couple more to make while we're waiting for that to come to a boil. Two more. And one more, and that'll be a really little one. All right. Washing my hands. Okay, trying to get them both in. There we go, without falling off the counter. So we just wait for this to come up to a simmer. It's almost there. And then we'll add the meatballs. And this is basically a serving for 4, so I probably won't have to freeze much of this. Because with a few leftovers, that'll be it. You know, a watched pot never boils. Ain't that the truth? I always end up using garlic and onion on the very day they pick up my rubbish, which means I have to wait till next week to get rid of the leftovers. However, we're boiling now. However, what I do is freeze it. I'm going to put these in very carefully because they're very fragile little meatballs. There we go. They're all swimming. I'm just going to squish it, shush it a little. I don't want to really hit the meatballs. Alright, I'm going to let those simmer away for about 5 minutes, and then we'll be back with the next step. Hold on. Okay, they've been boiling for about 5 minutes. I have it on about 6.5, medium high, and you can see all the nice meatballs in there. And the next thing I'm going to do is add some pasta, 3/4 of a cup, and I am using let me see how you pronounce this thing here. Ditalini, I believe is how it's pronounced. I don't know, but it sounds good to me. So I'm going to mix that in. And the box says to cook that for 10 minutes for al dente. And I'm going to cook it about 8, because then I will add the last ingredient, which is spinach. So let me wait, and I'll be back as soon as we're ready to put the spinach in. Hold on. Okay, time for the last ingredient. Spinach. About 5 ounces of spinach. And just going to put it in and let it wilt down. Now, I grew up not too far from Gloucester, Massachusetts, which, of course, if you know anything about Gloucester fishermen in that area, there's a lot of Italian and Portuguese folks there. And my girlfriend, who was born and raised there, we were not friends growing up, but became friends later in life, is very familiar with making this. And as I said, there's lots of variations. I'm just going to let this cook for a little bit. I'm using spinach because we like spinach. When her mother made it, and some of the other folks in the Gloucester area, they used escarole. And so I imagine you could use kale if you prefer. And I use the ditalini, and a lot of people use orzo. So there's lots of different variations on this soup. Now I will serve this. This soup really should be served with a nice crusty French bread, French loaf. I don't have any of those today. And it really doesn't lend itself to the cornbread route, which most of the other soups do. So I might just make up some biscuits. You have to have something to soak up that nice broth. So let's see what our masterpiece looks like. Delicious and hot. The plate's actually burning my hand. So I will attempt to take a taste without getting seriously burnt. Let's see. There you go. Now I've got to try one of these meatballs and a little piece of spinach. Delicious. Those meatballs are so tender. I love it. Now when I make a serving of this for dinner tonight, it's still a little early for dinner, I'm going to top mine with some Parmesan cheese or some Romano. I have some fresh in the refrigerator. I didn't want to use that in the meatballs because my husband's not such a fan of it, so I thought the Parmesan would be the lesser of the evils. So here we are. Here's your soup for Super Sunday. Well, the last soup of the Sundays. Oh, where did it go? There you go. Italian wedding soup. Mange. Okay, next week begins December. Oh my goodness sakes. And so we're done with our Super Sundays. I'm going to put this down on simmer. Because we're not ready to eat yet. We're done with our Super Sundays. So next week, and hopefully for the Sundays in December, I'm going to be sharing some gifts that you can make in your kitchen. Things to share with your friends and neighbors. So until then, everybody have a great afternoon. Enjoy some Italian wedding soup and play nice now. Bye-bye.